Thank you for joining us tonight at 10. The Columbus Police Department recognizes 3 of its officers. Patrol officers Fulton, Harrison, and Watkins received commendations at tonight's City Council meeting. On November 10th, the 3 officers rescued a driver whose car crashed and overturned into a water-filled ditch. Chief Rich Shelton says that the life-saving commendation is given to any officer who saves or attempts to save a life by rescue of a person that's in imminent danger of death by efforts beyond the normal call of duty. It's been nearly 2 decades since contamination was detected at the Kerr-McGee Creo site facility on Columbus's north side. Fast forward to today, plans are moving forward for redeveloping that site. Members with the Greenfield Environmental Multi-State Trust have come up with 3 potential layouts for the area. Our Quentin Smith takes a look at the proposed plans. He joins us live in the studio with more.
Scott, they're looking to revive and improve that area. All throughout the day, residents from that neighborhood and members of the public viewed the proposals and had a chance to offer their feedback. Now, of the 3 proposals, one concept will consist of active and passive spaces for things like gardens and horticultural uses. The second one is geared towards a mixed-use neighborhood center and would feature a multi-purpose center for people of all ages. And the third scenario, it features employment-type usage where industries can come in and set up. The Greenfield Environmental Multi-State Trust will gather all the input from today's session, see which concept residents express the most interest in, and then make their decision.
We have a concern for people who were hurt by the contamination, and so we're fighting to help them recover by redeveloping this area and bringing in some physical entities that will not only increase property value, but change these people's lives, try to bring in some tax dollars, try to bring some job performance functions.
The Greenfield Environmental Trust wants to create a redevelopment plan that is reflective of the wishes and the desires of the community as much as is feasible given market constraints and various environmental factors. So in order to understand that, of course, we have to have input and feedback into the process. We've had that on multiple occasions prior to this set of sessions, but this is another step in the process, these availability sessions, to further refine the concepts as we go forward.
The Greenfield Environmental Trust hopes to have a proposal selected by the beginning of 2020. If you didn't have time to make it out to a session today, no need to worry. There will be another one tomorrow morning from 9 until 11. It'll take place at the Multi-State Trust Community Resource Building, which is located just off of 14th Avenue on Columbus's north side. Scott?
All right, Quentin, thank you very much. How are tax dollars being spent? Your tax dollars, that is. That's at the heart of the questions the state auditor is asking as he digs deeper into the data on school spending. And one lesson State Auditor Shad White is learning is Mississippi is spending more money outside the classroom than our neighboring states. Courtney Ann Jackson explains more.
State Auditor Shad White is on round 2 of looking at school spending. April's report revealed enough that he says it warranted a closer look.
Money was going at an increasing rate to administrative costs at a faster clip than it was going inside the classroom.
The first report was met with pushback from the parents' campaign that called it a hit piece in an attempt to give political cover to the legislature for refusing to pass a higher teacher pay raise. White says that was never the intent.
It's not about calling out any one group. The real purpose here is to make sure that we are putting as much money as we can into the thing that matters the most for kids, which is teachers.
The new angle is comparison. Mississippi's outside the classroom spending percentage is 4th highest among all 17 states across the South. The one putting the most money in the classroom, Maryland.
If we were doing as well as Maryland at spending our money in the classroom, we'd have another $250 million to dedicate to the classroom.
White is suggesting this is an instance where copying your neighbors is a good idea, but he notes there are districts already making steps in the right direction. Jackson Public Schools superintendent, for example, is restructuring the central office and saving nearly $1 million. Finally, White says the state needs to take a look at the regulations being placed on the school districts.
Put more regulations on schools they a lot of times have to hire more people to help make sure they're complying with those regulations.
If you look at just our border states, we have consistently put the lowest percentage of spending inside the classroom each year since 2006. Courtney Ann Jackson, WCBI News.
The auditor says this won't be the last you'll see of his office analyzing school spending. He says they'll keep looking at how the areas taking up large amounts of our state budget could be improved or find savings. If you're job searching, now might be the time to land a job. That's because there are more jobs than workers right now. According to the Mississippi Department of Employment Security, in October of this year, the unemployment rate was 5.5%. Higher than last year's 4.7%. Over the last year, the number of jobs in the Magnolia State increased by 11,700. Also, over the last year, the number of unemployed Mississippians rose by 1,500 this October to 70,800.
Temperatures right now cooling down into the upper 30s at Oxford and Winona, and some low and mid 40s as well for you in Starkville, West Point, Tupelo, and Columbus. So we are cooling down. The sky remains crystal clear. It's been that way all evening long, and there you go. No major problems for the rest of tonight, and that bodes well for our day tomorrow. There's Dale already into the Christmas spirit. Look at that guy right there. And we'll have another very nice day here on Wednesday, 68 degrees. Some of you in the low 70s. Stay mild for Thursday and Friday, too. Better rain chances, though, as we get into your Friday. Some heavier rain is possible, and there could be another system next week, too. We'll talk about all of that coming up.
Methamphetamine is a nationwide drug problem, and that's especially true in South Dakota, where over 80% of drug-related court cases deal with meth use. A new public service campaign was recently rolled out to address the epidemic, but as CBS's Jim Axelrod reports, it may be sending mixed messages.
Meth is not someone else's problem. It's everyone in South Dakota's problem.
If the whole point of South Dakota's anti-meth campaign
I'm on meth.
is to raise awareness,
I'm on meth.
I'm on it too.
strictly speaking, job well done.
I think it's pretty out there. It's pretty intense. Like meth, I'm guessing.
But if you look a little closer at the kind of awareness the Meth I'm On It campaign is generating, maybe they want to redefine success. Because a lot of people don't hear this
I'm on it.
I'm on it.
I'm on it too.
as a call to arms, but rather as a sad confession.
I'm on meth.
Which has led to trending Twitter sphere ridicule like, just imagine the lines that were rejected. Or is there an actual plan behind this?
The arrow didn't hit the bullseye. The arrow went flying over the top.
Mike Paul runs Reputation Doctor, a crisis PR firm in New York. He disputes the old adage that all publicity is good publicity.
If you're trending on Twitter, not with excellence of awareness of educating those who are in crisis, you're trending on Twitter because you missed the mark and you're a laughingstock, time to eat some humble pie. It's time to change it.
But that's not the strategy of either South Dakota's governor or the firm that signed a nearly $1.4 million contract to produce and distribute the ad. Now they all say the ad is doing its job, which in their words is soliciting all kinds of reactions. That part is certainly true. Jim Axelrod, CBS News, New York.
All right, let's get a look at our forecast. We'll send things over to Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson. Keith, it was another gorgeous day out there today.
Perfect weather today. I think we're going to do it again tomorrow, Scott. If you have any yard work to do, no problems whatsoever. Good day to get out there for some chores. We do have some rain on the way. One of those chores tomorrow, maybe you want to clean out the gutters because we do have some rain coming our way. We'll talk about all of that next.
For WCBI First Alert AccuWeather Forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
The scene at Columbus Lake today, absolutely amazing. Bright blue sky, refreshing breeze. You can see the waves right there on the water. No problems whatsoever. If you could take advantage of the great weather today, you have another chance tomorrow on Wednesday. 60s and 70s across the region, around 70 the Golden Triangle area. Perhaps a little bit cooler out towards Tupelo at 67, Corinth 65. But not too bad of a day. Rain chances going on up as we get into maybe Thursday, but more likely Friday and early Saturday. And for the middle of next week as well, with another system just waiting in the wings. So rain potential here going into Friday and Friday night, anywhere from a ½ inch to maybe 2 inches of rain or more. It all depends on how this thing comes together, but we do have some rain coming our way. Not so much for tonight. You've noticed the crystal clear skies all day long, and that will carry over tonight. We'll likely see some higher clouds across the region tomorrow, but we are still dry. The clouds will still be around on Thursday. Can't roll out a shower or two during the day Thursday, but basically dry here. And then we'll start to see a better opportunity for some rain as we get into our Friday. Most likely during the afternoon and evening, a better chance for some showers and even a few storms too. We don't really envision any strong storms around here or any severe weather, just because it doesn't look like the atmosphere is going to be unstable enough, but we may see some rain carry over into the early part of Saturday before we clear that system out. So it doesn't look like we'll have any problems for football this weekend. Fingers crossed on that. We're watching that energy, a double barrel low of low pressure out there across the desert Southwest, kicking up the rain showers in Las Vegas and Phoenix, Arizona and San Diego tonight. All quiet around here. We are cooling down in Columbus and Tupelo at 45, 46 in Vernon at Durham's Pharmacy, 44 down in Louisville, Mississippi right now. And that's where we're at. Upper 30s, low 40s to mid 40s right now. As we mentioned earlier, overnight lows into the upper 30s in many spots here. Upper 60s to around 70, if not into the lower 70s around here. On Wednesday, 76 in Jackson and Hattiesburg. It's looking great. Now, the next system next week, an area of low pressure is expected to develop somewhere across the high plains and then move towards the Great Lakes. We will have to watch this because these are the kind of systems that will tend to produce strong to severe storms down here in the deep south and some heavy snow, maybe a blizzard across the northern plains. And this would be Tuesday and a Wednesday just before Thanksgiving. Some of you may have some travel plans. And we'll just keep you updated on that as we go throughout the next 7 days. But in the near term, Scott, we're looking great on Wednesday. Take advantage. 68, mostly sunny. Maybe a shower or two Thursday, but still warm through Friday before we cool things down into the 50s for the weekend.
So if they want to enjoy these nice temperatures, they better get out tomorrow and some on Thursday.
Yeah, not bad.
And highly recommended, everyone. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Keith. Well, everyone could use a little help during the holidays, even Santa. We check in with some local elves when we come back.
You're watching WCBI News at 10 with Scott Martin.
Welcome back, everyone. Shoe boxes filled with Christmas gifts for children are being dropped off at churches across our area. It's part of the annual ministry known as Operation Christmas Child. Our Allie Martin visited one of the local drop-off locations and tells us how volunteers are making it all come together.
The boxes come by the hundreds and one or two at a time. It's National Collection Week for Operation Christmas Child, and First Baptist Church of Amory is one of nearly 5,000 shoebox drop-off locations nationwide.
This is the week that we work toward all year long.
Deborah Frederick is project leader for FBC Amory. She volunteers throughout the entire year, making sure items for shoeboxes are ready for the church's packing party. She also educates people about what can and can't go into them. Age-appropriate presents for either a boy or girl are encouraged, along with school supplies, clothing, and personal care items. Candy and toothpaste, gum, war-related items, liquids, and lotions are not allowed.
So many places, these children have never gotten a gift ever. And this is probably the only gift they ever receive in their life. So we put a lot of impact on packing quality products.
By the end of the week, cartons full of shoe boxes will line both sides of the hallway outside of the gym at First Baptist Amory. The shoe boxes will go to Columbus, then they'll be shipped to Atlanta to the processing center, where volunteers will add one more important item to each shoe box.
The biggest impact of these boxes is the gospel that is shared with these children. They have the opportunity to go through the Greatest Journey discipleship program. They get excited about it. They go home, they tell their parents and their friends.
And while the shoe boxes will be delivered to boys and girls all across the world, Frederick makes sure each one is prayed over before it begins the long journey.
Father, bless the little hearts and the little hands that receive them.
In Amory, Allie Martin, WCBI News.
For a list of drop-off locations or for more information on how to pack a shoebox, just go to SamaritansPurse.org. Well, 'tis the season to give back, and the Oktibbeha County Sheriff's Department is teaming up with businesses around Starkville to do that with their 4th annual toy drive. The department is putting out the call for new toys for families in need this holiday season. The sheriff's office will serve as the drop-off location. Deputies will be pulling double duty as elves, wrapping the gifts and making sure they're delivered on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day.
A lot of people going through difficult times right now, and if it's anything we can do to kind of make it a little bit better for them or brighten somebody's day or brighten a child's day, that's exactly what we want to do.
If you'd like to donate to the toy drive, drop-off hours are Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. While 6 wins is out of the picture, there's still a path to a bowl for Ole Miss. We'll go through the scenarios coming up next in sports.
Here's sports with Tom Ebel.
Sitting at 4-7, there's still a pathway for Ole Miss to reach its first bowl game since 2015. The Rebels will have to rely on the APR and other 5 and 6 teams to not reach that 6-win mark. But what would come first would have to be an Egg Bowl win. The Rebels on bye this weekend before the rivalry matchup with almost 2 weeks to prepare for Mississippi State. While Matt Luke and company know what it'll take to reach a bowl, the Egg Bowl is all that matters right now.
As coaches talk again, but all we can do is focus on a one-game season, and then we'll figure out the scenarios after that. But let's go find a way to win this game. 1-game season, 10 games, everything goes into it. 1-game season, and then we'll let the chips fall where they may.
Shout out to Nathaniel Gabler from the Oxford Eagle with this little bit of put your tinfoil hats on, folks, because here's the path for Ole Miss. The academic progress rate, that's the APR. The Rebels tied for 38. Of course, they must win the Egg Bowl, but here's the situation. Boston College and Arizona State, they're above Ole Miss in the APR. They also have 5 wins, so they win 1 more each. They're in. Duke and Ohio are 4 and 6. If they reach 6 or even 5, they're above Ole Miss in the APR as well, so they would get first dibs if they were 5 and 7 or 6 and 6. Now you're talking Stanford. They're above Ole Miss in APR as well, but they're 4 and 6, so they need to win out because the Pac-12 doesn't allow teams that haven't reached 6 wins to enter a bowl game. So these are the 5 teams that are above Ole Miss in the APR currently that sit on this fringe 4 and 6, 5 and 6, 4 and 7, that kind of battle. But again, none of this matters if Ole Miss doesn't win the Egg Bowl on Thanksgiving Day. Taking a look at the latest college football playoff rankings for this week, LSU at number 1, Ohio State 2, Clemson 3, Georgia 4. That's your playoffs. Alabama, of course, sitting on the outside looking in at number 5. Then Oregon, Utah, Penn State, Oklahoma, and Minnesota round out the rest of the top 10. To college hoops, Ole Miss looking to stay perfect in non-conference, taking on Seattle. Check out Brian Tyree here on the break. The one-man break himself goes behind the back, the silky smooth finish with the left hand one more time. Brian, don't embarrass that man. His family might be watching. Ole Miss rolling early on. Here's Tyree again. Nice dish inside to West Point native Austin Crowley. Head shoulder fake, no dandruff. That's buckets. Rebels up going into halftime. Then second half, more of the same. Off the inbounds play, Devontae Schuler for 3, takes the bump. A 4-point play for Schuler. He'll take all 4 of those, so Ole Miss in control. And KJ Buffin on the drive. He's going to dish inside to Kadim Sy for the 2-hand jam. Rebels get the win 65-52. They're off to their big-time matchup on Saturday with number 16 Memphis. Ole Miss women's hoops drops its 2nd straight on the road, falling 59-53 on the road to Southern Miss. Starkville native Kelsey Jones with 10 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 steals off the bench in the win for the Golden Eagles. Rebels return home to face Louisiana Tech on Saturday. Time again for our lineman of the week. The honor this week going to a group that's known for its punishing style, especially come playoff time.
Tonight's Lineman of the Week with West Point is brought to you by the City of West Point Electric Department.
This week's Lineman of the Week is Brad Davis. Brad has 18 years of service with the City of West Point Water and Light. Head coach Chris Chambliss saying, well, the entire offensive line deserves a shout out from the Green Wave after its dominant playoff performance. 49-28 over Provine, 251 yards rushing, nearly 400 yards of total offense in the W. A big-time second-round matchup rematch, I should say, between Lafayette and West Point coming up on Friday. Such a big matchup. Go over to our Facebook and Twitter accounts at WCBI Endzone to vote for our Game of the Week Part 2. We have an idea what Part 1 will be. It's a pretty big matchup, but here are your other matchups for another Game of the Week. Houston at Noxubee County, that's a rematch. Lafayette at West Point, that's a rematch. Then a big 1A battle between Baldwin and Nanawaya. If you look at the votes on Facebook and Twitter, it's dead heat right now between two of them across the board. So it'll be interesting to see how this one goes. The polls close at 5 p.m. tomorrow, Scott. So make sure you get your votes in.
Hard to believe that we're wrapping up the high school football season.
Just 2 more end zones.
Jesus.
That's it.
Goodness. All right, thanks, Tom. We'll have last look at your forecast when we come back.
Sunny tomorrow, should be a very nice day. Some clouds will increase, and we may see a shower or two Thursday, but really the next 2 days should be okay. A rain and storm still in the forecast. I'm sorry for your football extravaganza this week, but
That's okay.
It is what it is. Cooler for the weekend. And then next week, the middle of next week, Tuesday or Wednesday, maybe a bigger system.
And you guys have been through the rain. Y'all been in the rain before. You guys will make it, right?
Of course.
You can do it.
Anytime. Rain, sleet.
They got this.
snow.
We got a pro sports team,
Yeah.
y'all. Just saying. All right. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a great night. We'll see you right back here tomorrow, same time, same place.